Welcome back, Saint. I'm Dr. Allie Kane, your women's health focused chiropractor, and we are continuing to restore your core and pelvic floor today. I'm on my own journey right now. I am just 4 months postpartum with my third baby. So I've done this work over and over again, and I know that it works. And I'm so happy to be sharing this methodology with you. For women that are postpartum a few months, years, or even decades, it's still gonna work. If you are in perimenopause and experiencing things like pelvic organ prolapse, pain with sex, pain within the pelvic region, low back pain, a stubborn core or mom pooch, I hate that term, but I know it resonates. It just doesn't seem to respond to regular exercise or diet. This is often the magic that you are looking for. All we'll need today is a band. If you don't have one, that's okay. You can do everything without it. As I say, we like to go slow to go fast. Proper alignment and proper engagement is key to get the results that we're looking for. And Synced is amazing. I've been to so many different fitness classes where they're just like, engage your core, engage your pelvic floor. And you're like, what does that mean? I'm going to teach you today, and we're going to repeat it throughout this series so that you nail it, because that really is the bread and butter to make these exercises do what they were intended to do, which is make you feel amazing. Couple of things we talked about in the first class. If you haven't watched the first class yet, I want you to go back and watch that one first, because everything is progressive and builds on one another. But as we do these exercises, we want to make sure that there's no coning or doming in your midsection. Your core is like, think of like a can of soup. Like a Campbell's can of soup. It is so strong that if I put this down there, I could stand on it and it wouldn't break. Because there's a synergistic relationship between your diaphragm and your pelvic floor, when everything is working optimally, your core is super strong. But if there is a dent in that soup can anywhere, or a leak within the core for one reason or another that is not allowing it to be as strong as you could be, that's where we need to hone in on. When I say intra-abdominal pressure, I mean your ability to properly engage the core. When you see coning or doming or diastasis recti, which is the separation of your abs, that often means that instead of creating tension inwards, you're actually bearing out or bearing down on top of your pelvic organs and your pelvic floor to create a false sense of stability. We talked in the last class about how as you breathe in, your diaphragm presses on top of your pelvic organs, your bladder, your uterus, and your rectum. Your pelvic floor needs to be able to lengthen to accommodate that increase in intra-abdominal pressure. If it can't, all of that pressure is just causing your pelvic organs to just drive right down into your pelvic floor. And that's often why we see pelvic organ prolapse happen months, years, and decades later. Similarly, throughout perimenopause, it's characterized by a drop off in estrogen. Estrogen actually is made up in all of our tendons. There's estrogen receptors. So estrogen kind of clumps up our tendons and helps them to be stronger. So your body might have just been hanging on for dear life in the pelvic region, and all of a sudden perimenopause hits, estrogen drops off, and that's when a lot of your symptoms arise. So we're going to build back that strength today. Okay, enough talking. Let's get started. I think it's so important that you know the why behind the what, but the what is the fun part. Let's bring our bodies on down onto our back. We're starting with our breath work. The first 10 breaths that we do here, go ahead and pull that pubic bone up so you have a gentle imprint of your low back on the mat. Your left hand comes to chest, your right hand comes to belly button. Close your eyes, connect to your body, breathing in, ribs expand, belly rises, and think of like a flower blooming throughout your vagina. That's that lengthening that we want to feel. We're just focusing on the inhale for these first 10 breaths here. Try not to force it. For so many of us, for one reason or another, tight pants, the shitty messaging that we've gotten from the media throughout our lifespan, we've spent a lot of time trying to shrink ourselves and sucking in and squeezing our body into really tight clothing. So sometimes the expansion itself can actually be really challenging. And I don't want you to be bearing down to try to feel that expansion. I just want each subsequent rep to feel like you're getting a little bit more 360-degree expansion. We have the rest of our lives to work on this. We don't have to get it all in one day, but you will get something, I promise you. A reminder not to just numbly move through this exercise. I want you to really put your brain into the area that we're focusing on. One final inhale. And this time bringing your hands on top of your hips. As you exhale, think about narrowing at the waist, or as if you are wearing a corset and it's being tightened up. We're tightening our inner corset, our inner core unit, your TVA. Your TVA runs horizontal. Breathing in, belly rises, ribs expand, flower blooms. Exhale, belly button comes in, slightly up. We're narrowing at the core, initiating down nice and low, making sure that we're not over engaging our upper abs. Stay with me here, working at your own speed, but we're aiming for about 8 to 10. As you're getting the hang of this, truly take your body and show your abs what you want. In this video, what I'm showing you right now is as I'm exhaling, I'm bringing my fingertips together because that's how the muscle fibers are oriented in that TVA muscle. So we're getting them to contract inwards. One more. Exhale, wrap. All right, the pelvic floor. We are going to be engaging the pelvic floor here. Once again, raise your hand if you've been in a class where somebody said, engage your pelvic floor, and you're like, what does that mean? I'm about to show you. Now, your pelvic floor, I'm gonna get up close and personal for this one, so tune in. Your pelvic floor is the muscle, it's like a hammock. Around your anus, that muscle is called your levator ani. It literally means lift your anus. That is your pelvic floor. The best way to start to bring your brain into that pelvic floor region is to think about the muscles that you would use to hold in a fart. Okay, but the key when you're doing this, ladies, is that you're not squeezing your big glute muscles, that you're finding those little intrinsic muscles in your perineum and lifting up. I'll go through a variety of cues here so that we can all master at least a portion of this today. So we are going to still start with that breath in. As you exhale, start to connect the muscles you would use to hold in a fart. Bring your hands to your bum to make sure that you're not clenching them. If you are, try to soften them. And then once you have a flicker of muscle activity in the muscles that you would use to hold in a fart, start to draw it up as if there was a rope inside pulling everything up. You should feel the lower portion of your abs engage as you get better at this. Breathing in. Exhale, find the muscles you would use to hold in a fart, don't laugh, and then start to lift it up. Again. Exhale, lifting through the pelvic floor. 2 more. Exhale, find that flicker of muscle activity at the anus, not the big bum muscles, lifting it up. And on this final one, we're gonna lift and we're gonna wrap together. Belly breath in, belly rises, ribs expand, flower blooms. Exhale, start to lift and wrap. Let's do that one more time. Breath in. Exhale, lift, wrap. Hold that for 3, 2, 1. Amazing job. You just did the most important thing that you can do in terms of core and pelvic floor rehab. And we're going to apply that same motion to almost all the exercises that we're doing today. Flipping gears from our first pillar breath work to our second pillar postural protocol to make sure that we have proper alignment through our ribs, getting rid of any rib flare, and that our ribs are stacked on top of our pelvis. If you have room to stand, go ahead and do that now. From here, you're going to have a gentle hinge over. Thumbs are going to be up, connecting to the muscles that attach onto your shoulder blades. You're going to come into a wide Y. Making sure the shoulders don't shrug up, but it's like you're sliding your shoulder blades down and back. Good, we've got 3 more Ys for 3, 2, don't be afraid to add a gentle contraction of that lower belly as we're doing this. And then out to the side, squeezing the shoulder blades together in your T. Good. 3 more for 3, 2, and 1. Last one's called a W. Palms behind you. You initiate elbows up and try to just rotate at the shoulder. No shrugging through the traps and back down. Elbows up, rotate down, and back down. So good. No weight needed. My muscles are already saying hello. A little bit of a sting here. Let's go for 2 more. 2 and 1. Stand up for just a moment, shake it out, but we are going to go back into that position. Before we do, find that gentle engagement by narrowing at the waist, belly button in and up, hinging the hips back and bringing your body down to about parallel. We want to avoid too much of a knee bend here. This is getting our lower back prepped for the work, our glutes and our back body. So sending those hips back as your chest comes down, only the slightest bend in your knees as you do so. 2 more. 2 and 1. Good. Bring the hands down onto the ground. Walk the feet back, bum in the air. Downward facing dog. Just for a moment, drive the ears through that little window you've created with your arms. And then slowly shift your weight forward. Knees are going to drop. You're going to come all the way down to the ground and then press up onto your hands and knees. We're into our first core exercise here. I'm always going to be cueing you to breathe in and to exhale to lift into wrap. A gentle reminder, that is the rep. The arms and the legs are just extra. We just do that to challenge your core. You are looking to make sure that you don't cone, you don't bulge, you don't press down. And in fact, another symptom that you're not engaging properly would be like a vaginal queef as well. So we want to make sure that none of those things are happening. If they are, take a moment, reset, and then come back into it. Onto your hands and knees. If the wrists are a problem here, you can always come down onto the forearm. From here, ladies, you're gonna breathe in, belly drops. You exhale, pull the belly button in and up. Then find that flicker of muscle activity in the pelvic floor and lift it up. Once that's engaged, firm through the arms, right knee lifts, and you're gonna bring it straight back without losing the stability through the core. If that feels good, you can then lift the opposite arm and extend that out as well. If you feel any of those symptoms, you simply keep your arms where they are. We're sticking on this side. Breathe in, exhale, wrap, lift, and then the arms and the legs go. So there's 2 real components to this. Breathing in, exhale, setting that core tension, and then challenging that core tension by moving the arms and the legs. If you lose it anywhere along the lift of the extremities, that's your edge. So own it. Be where you need to be. Let's not skip any steps. We've got 1 more. Breath in, exhale, wrap, lift that pelvic floor, arm and leg go, or wherever you're at. Good. Bring that back down. Shake it out for a sec. Breathing in, belly rises, ribs expand, flower blooms. Exhale, belly button in and up. Narrow at the waist. Lift that pelvic floor. Left leg lifts. Whatever leg you're on, you extend that back. Opposite arm. Back down. This is the wrap. Breathing in. Exhale, lift and wrap. Extend. Stick with it. Breathing in. Exhale, lift and wrap. One more here. Breathing in. Exhale, lift, wrap, hold. Arm and leg go out. Holding here for 3, 2, 1. So good. Bring the body on down here. Actually, when I say on down, I really just mean onto your knees. Now, I'm not going to use any weights for this right now, but if you want to use, if you have a cordless ball, sometimes I find it easier. Actually, check that. I'm going to use the cordless ball. If you don't have a cordless ball, don't worry about it. You can always use a couch cushion. You can do this without any equipment if need be. So what we're looking at here is, once again, focusing on the core. You're going to be able to see and to feel if there is any doming or bulging throughout here. Arms are straight. Gentle pressing in of the ball, call it like 20 or 30% tension. If you notice here, you're clenching your glutes, try to soften them. We breathe in, exhale, wrap and lift, and then lean back as far as you can, keeping that squeeze of the ball, keeping good alignment and good engagement. Breathe in, let it all go. exhale, lift and wrap, squeeze, come back. Good job, you guys. Breathing in, let go of the ball, exhale, squeeze that ball, lift and wrap through the inner core, and come back as far as you can go. Take an actual look down at your core if you can here, or for one rep if you want to keep a hand on that belly so you can see what's going on. You want to make sure that as you lean back, you don't start to bulge out through the lower body like that you keep everything coming in towards the midline. Good. Ooh, this is a good one for the quads too. Exhale, wrap, lift that pelvic floor, lean it on back. We've got one more here, team. Whew, that one always makes me sweat. All right, get rid of that ball. Come on down to your back. Dead bugs. So we worked on dead bugs in our first class here. We're going to progress them only if your body can tolerate it, because once again, the rep is the inner core unit engagement. The arms and the legs move just to challenge it. Arms come up towards the ceiling, legs come up into tabletop. And in this tabletop position, I just want to show you guys, I'm not straight like this. I'm actually knees wider than hips. I find that just gets rid of any hip flexor issues or like popping that you might have, or if your hip flexors like to take over for the job that your lower abs should be doing. So arms are up, legs are up. Don't forget, gentle imprint of that low spine. Big breath in, belly rises, ribs expand, flower blooms. Exhale, wrap. We're adding that lift in as well. You want to keep that tension throughout the entire range of this exercise. Left leg drops only as far as you can maintain that connection. Opposite arm comes up overhead. Good, bringing it back. Breath in. Exhale, wrap and lift. This time we're going on to the other side. For some of us, it's going to look like full extension. For others, it's going to look like 1 or 2 inches. It's not better, it's not worse. It's where you're at right now, where your body needs to be in order to heal. For the first 6 weeks postpartum, all I did was hold this position without movement and breathe. Exhale, lift and wrap. And it's cool, at my clinic here in Georgina, we run a really big postnatal rehab program. And so all of our new moms come in and we do a full postnatal check. We assess their diastasis recti, which is their core separation. And when you're pregnant, your core has to separate. It's totally normal. It takes about, well, for some people it takes 2 weeks, but normally up to about 8 weeks for full healing, which is about 2 fingers wide. Keep it going here, guys. Don't forget that breath. So I was able to get a check to see what my diastasis looked like in its width and its depth and my tone overall. And then we rechecked it after I did the first 6-week postnatal rehab session like we're doing now. And the tension had improved dramatically, the width and the depth as well. So if you're just newly postpartum here, expect that your abs have a little bit of separation. Expect that the tone isn't where it used to be, obviously, but know that this is exactly what you need to be doing to get where you need to be. Last one, breathing in, exhale, lift and wrap, dropping that down. So good. All right, onto your side here. Now we're gonna stack so that our ankles, hips, shoulders are all in alignment and your knees are in front. From here, what we're gonna do is make sure that we lift that lower body, breathe in, exhale, wrap, and then you're gonna lift your body up and slightly forward and then come back down. Modified plank, making sure that we don't sink here. Breathe in, exhale, wrap, and lift it up. Now, if you can maintain that connection the whole time, we can get rid of the breath at the bottom and just do it when you feel like you need to. Once again, there's no right or wrong to doing this. The slower we go and the more connected to our core, the better and quicker the results will be. So I can feel myself starting to lose that pelvic floor connection here. So I take a moment, breathe in, wrap, lift. We've got 4 more. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Other side. Same thing, once again, taking the time so that you're set up, elbows right under shoulder, ankles, hips, and shoulder are all in alignment. Breathe in, exhale, lift, and wrap. Now I happen to know that this side is my weaker side, so knowing that, I'm gonna take the time in between every rep to really make sure I have that inner core unit engagement. You might have a strong side and a weak side too. It's fairly common, but you just want to make sure that you treat each side like you need to. So if you have to go a little slower on this side, it's not weakness to admit it. It's actually a lot stronger, or will allow you to become a lot stronger when you tap into the area of your body that are asking you to slow down and to really work. Let's go for 3, 2, last one. Amazing job. Let's get back onto our hands and our knees here. How you guys feeling? Shake that out. Sweat is real. There's a lot to it when you're putting your brain right into your body and starting to correct old compensatory patterns. And I want to acknowledge that it can be a little bit frustrating too, especially if you're somebody that's been working out for years, you're a very strong athlete. Taking these steps back and going slower can feel really, really cumbersome, but I promise you the results are worth it. Slow down now so we can go fast later. Onto your hands and your knees. Pull that pubic bone up and in, breathing in, belly rises, ribs expand. Exhale, pull the belly button in and up, lift that pelvic floor, and we're gonna bring opposite leg and opposite arm up, hold for a count, bring it back down, breathing in, exhale, lift and wrap. We're gonna go opposite side this time. Good. Making sure you stay as stable as possible in that extended position. So you don't let any dip come into your low back. You're not gripping the floor with your fingertips with a death grip. You're really allowing your core to do the work here, the pelvic floor, and allowing yourself to be challenged by the distance that you bring that leg and arm up. Good. We've got one more per side. Breathing in, exhale, lift and wrap, extend. Last one, breath. Exhale, lift and wrap, extend. Good job grabbing that ball if you have it, squeezing it out in front of you, stacking ribs over pelvis. So big difference from this position to that position. Breathe, exhale, lift and wrap, and come back as far as you can as you squeeze that ball in, the couch cushion, whatever it might be. If you're somebody that did notice a little bit of coning and doming, actually taking your hand and feeling the midsection as you go through this exercise. Breath at the top each and every time. 4 more. Lift and wrap for 3. That's it, so good for 2. And 1. Amazing, down onto your side. Stack ankles, hips, shoulder. This elbow's right underneath this shoulder. Lift everything up, find that lift and wrap, and let's start to move. Once again, if you feel like you can keep that engagement, with this particular exercise, you don't need to necessarily stop with every rep to take that breath, but certainly as your body gets fatigued or as you start to lose that connection, take the time, reset. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. You know, it's really interesting. I have always been an athlete. I played basketball and I ran cross country when I was in university. I spent a lot of years doing CrossFit where I felt really strong, but I always felt like my core was super weak. And the problem was because I could do so much, I never wanted to slow down. It was a flawed idea, but it can be really hard to slow down. And I just want to acknowledge that. But being postpartum forced me to slow down. And what happened was the coolest thing. I had definition in my abs for the first time after kids that I'd never had before as a high-level athlete. I got faster in my running, and I'm putting up similar numbers in strength, training like probably 50 to 60% of what I used to. All that to say, pelvic floor and core engaged and turned on. The results are gonna come. Love it. One more. Good. And back down. Looking so good, you guys. Our last exercise here, our dead bug. Come on down onto your back. Pull that pubic bone up. Gentle imprint of the low back. Hands come up, legs come up. Take that moment. Just feel how the core is laying. Breath in. Exhale, wrap everything in. Lift that pelvic floor. Maybe it's just the legs moving. Maybe it's the leg and the arm. We breathe with every rep here. Try to get even higher in that pelvic floor lift. Once again, feeling the muscles around the anus and lifting them up, almost like there's a little rope in your body pulling everything in and up. I always find that when I'm on point with my pelvic floor engagement, that my core engagement feels that much tighter. That's because they're linked. Keep it going here. 2 more per side. As slow as you need to go. Once again, taking a hand and feeling the abs. Things might start to shake, and that's okay. We just don't want to lose the engagement inwards. If you feel any bearing down or coning or bulging outward, that's your cue to take a little bit of a break. Last one here. Exhale, lift, and wrap. Hug those knees into your chest. Rock side to side. And that is class number 2. Today we added in the pelvic floor lift on top of the breath work that I taught you in the first class. You now know what a full inner core unit engagement rep looks like. It's a breath in, belly rises, ribs expand, flower blooms. Exhale, lifting through the pelvis, wrapping through the core. Once again, that is your homework. Every stop sign, every red light that you see, try to get like 20 to 30 reps a day. If all you ever did was that inner core unit reps without any of the other stuff, you would probably still see a 20 to 30% improvement in the symptoms that you're trying to fix, improve, or prevent. I'll see you again soon. Bye.